All right, so I'm going to try to make two videos here on this fine Tuesday. Got out of work early, so I figured I had some extra time. I wanted to use it productively. So we're going to talk about playing off your recovery, like constantly thinking of your recovery time. If you get bad hangovers, don't get hangovers, this probably won't even apply to you. But if you do, you'll catch yourself, especially if you're like a weekend binge drinker, you'll catch yourself planning your week out to have rest time. Like I would usually drink Friday night, and then Saturday, Sunday, I would just waste the entire time resting. You're constantly in recovery mode. You know, you're also mentally exhausted because you're constantly planning around drinking. And when you drink Friday, right, and especially if you're a binge drinker, if you drink to excess like I used to, you're like toxifying your body all the way into Saturday morning. And if you're drinking more than that, you're more. And then you're recovering for like 2 to 3 days. So let's say Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You start feeling better Monday, Tuesday. You're back to normal Wednesday. And then you do it all over again Friday, right? And if you're drinking 2 or 3 times a week, constantly, you're constantly in that hangover feeling better. Like I remember going weekly. By Wednesday, I'd feel better. Drink again Friday, recover half the week. Then I'd drink again. I'd only really feel good for like 2 or 3 days out of the week, because my hangovers were becoming like 3 days, you know? And then if I got a migraine, because I don't know what was causing it, probably dehydration, I'd have a headache for like 2 or 3 days. It would always subside by Wednesday if I drank like Friday and Saturday or Saturday. So yeah, half of my weeks were spent feeling like crap. I'm sure you can relate to that, because it all depends on how much you're drinking. Depends on your sleep and your hydration, if you're eating, whatnot. But you're just constantly in recovery mode. You're never fully feeling great. 8 months in now, I'm always feeling great. I'm always feeling like that Thursday. You know, the one or 2 days there where I felt good. Always like a Thursday now. Right before I'd go and drink, and like I've said before in videos, when I'd get extra time off, I'd be like, oh man, now I could drink on a Thursday and rest even more. Or I'd potentially drink twice, Thursday and then Friday or Saturday. I would just extend it out. I gave up doing like the all weekend, the weekend warrior stuff. Like it used to be like Friday all the way into Saturday night into Sunday morning. As I got older, I just couldn't feasibly, as far as like the hangovers, you know, they got so much worse. I couldn't even bother doing that. When I was younger, I could do that and go into work. I would feel like crap for a day or two, but I couldn't even imagine the next 20 years drinking to excess. I feel like I was bedridden. But yeah, you're constantly recovering. I don't know how to say that enough. And when you feel better, you're drinking again. Or if you're drinking every day, you're never constantly hammering your liver. You're constantly hammering your kidneys. And then if you're smoking on top of it, your lungs. It's just bad in general. I think the 8 months I've had now, my body has thanked me for. And I'm sure years in, it's like they say, you know, organs and stuff, you regenerate, you know, over years. Your organs heal themselves as long as there's no permanent damage. So there's a lot of benefit with sobriety too in that regards. Another thing, this could be a whole different video, but I'll just bring this up because of the constantly recovering. Like as you're drinking, your tolerance is going up. So like if I take a few weeks off and drink, I'll get hammered quicker. Still have a high tolerance. Even after, you know, when I went 4 months before and drank, my tolerance was still quite high. It's like it lowers, but never back to where it was when you first drank, when you were like a teen or whatever. So I've always had this analogy, and I've always thought about this. You know, when they say person's a lightweight, I always envied the lightweight, right? Like someone who could have 2 or 3 beers and be smashed. That was just never me. You know, maybe when I was a teen, I was like that, but I envy that. I don't, people make fun of it like it's a badge of honor to be able to tank a bunch of alcohol. And your tolerance raises. So, like, if you're actively drinking every weekend or every day and your tolerance is sky high, drinking like 12 to 20 beers or like 8 to 10 mixed drinks or shots, just to get to that drunk you were, when you were at half of that capacity, you're putting double the amount of alcohol in your system. Okay. So, like, you guys that are out there drinking absorbent amounts of alcohol just to get drunk with your tolerance sky high, you're putting your body through 2 or 3x, maybe even 4x what a normal individual is. So for you to get that buzz and drunk, your tolerance is going up, but that load you're putting on your body is substantially larger, if that makes sense. And I've always thought about that when I was actively drinking ever since I was younger. Like, oh man, me and my buddies would kick a case of beer. I'd drink like 10 beers, go down to the bar and drink 3 or 4 pitchers with them, drink shots. If I did that today, I would probably die, right? And, you think it's cool at the time, but in reality, like, it took that much to get me wasted. That's something, I was going out and doing that 2 or 3 times a week. And it's like, the load is just because your tolerance is higher doesn't mean your organs can withstand that much of a load that much easier, right? No, you're just putting that much more weight onto your organs. So just think about that. You're getting drunk at this level, doing it every weekend, and your tolerance is like 2 or 3x. The load of alcohol you're throwing on your body to get to that same drunk is exponentially bigger. And I feel like that's why people that, drink to that excess, even every day, they're just really putting their body into overdrive. There's just never recovery. And your sleep when you're drunk is not like real sleep, man. You never reach REM or like alpha, beta, delta. Like, you'll never reach the deep frequencies of deep sleep, the healing and restoration part of sleep. You'll never reach that. And you're constantly drinking, or if you're drinking on the weekends, half of your week spent not in deep sleep. If you're drinking every night like that, you're not in deep sleep. It's like a scientific fact. I'm not saying if you throw a shot back and fall asleep, it's going to hinder you, but if you're getting blacked out, you're not sleeping, man. You're just passed out at that point. That's why when you wake up 5-10 hours later, you don't feel like you even had a lick of sleep. I remember being up so long overnight, drinking into the mornings. When I would about fall asleep, I'd almost dream while I was conscious in a way, while my eyes were closed. It was really weird. Like your body's like trying to force you into REM. Truly not healthy by any means. But yeah, just think about that too. When you're thinking about your drinking routine, and if you're sober, like going back to that, like constantly recovering. That hangover is just absurd. That waking up in a fog, like, oh my God, again. It's like severe dread, man. Anxiety is terrible. I do not miss any of that crap, dude. You guys drinking, and the ones that aren't wanting to get sober, you guys can have that crap, man. And if you're not experiencing that, then more power to you, because you're probably going to drink more than. But yeah, that's really it for this one. You're going to catch yourself constantly planning around weekend drunk or thinking about it all week. In reality, you should be spending those weekdays being productive, constantly waiting for. I remember drinking Friday, working overtime Saturday, and all I could think about was getting plastered off some that night and partying. It was so exhausting, but I was young too. I couldn't do that 2, 3 during like Labor Day weekend, Memorial Day weekend, July 4th, like 3 or 4 nighters in a row, man. I remember being dehydrated to the point where, like, when I was drinking beer, I was like drinking it to excess because I was dehydrated, trying to like drink. Like my body wants hydration, but I'm just getting drunk again. You know what I'm talking about when you're holiday binges, when you're just like 2 days in and you're drinking with your buddies and you're just like chugging beer and you're getting drunk again, but you're like thirsty too, and you're not drinking water. You're dehydrating yourself. It's absolutely terrible. It really is. But yeah,